Welcome to our Australia 2024 trip. We arrived at the SeaTac airport a full 2.5 hours before our flight, just in case there was a long line at security. The security line was the usual 45 minutes, so it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't great either. Our flight was going to be 19 hours, including our transfer in San Francisco, so we decided to get some dinner before we got on the airplane. Once we deboarded our plane in San Francisco, we had less than 1 hour to make it to our next terminal, and that was all the way across the airport. And since we'd never been to San Francisco airport before, we were a little stressed out. We were spot on with our timing though, because when we arrived to our terminal, the first boarding group had just started. We were served 2 meals in flight, and they weren't bad, but they weren't great either. Our flight arrived in Sydney on Sunday morning at 8 a.m., and we had left at 8 p.m. on Friday evening.
Already in the passport line.
Oh, really?
So she was yelling what kind.
After getting through a rather hectic passport line, we went and picked up our luggage. After picking up our luggage, we had to go through the declaration line, and then we were free to go. Once we were finished with lining up for lines to get into other lines, we headed out to go find a local SIM card. I picked up a local Vodafone SIM card. As per local reviews, they said that they had the best reception. After getting our SIM card, we headed to the train to go to Sydney.
Either way, everything's down.
Once out of the central station, we were about a 10-minute walk away from our hotel. Since it was November in Australia and it's spring, we got lucky enough to see these jacaranda trees all over the city. We arrived at our hotel at 11 a.m., which is a full 3 hours before the 2 p.m. check-in time. So we left our luggage at the front desk and headed out for a walk around town until we could check back in. Being Australia, there's quite a few of these hostels around Sydney and other towns. Having only eaten airplane food for the past 19 hours, we decided to find some food.
Has never before permitted his voice to be recorded.
That's hilarious. Yeah, but it's super fancy. The ones in Taiwan are all run down.
We stopped at a small restaurant in the mall where Melody had an avocado toast breakfast and I had an English breakfast. Feeling better after breakfast, we decided to go for a wander around Chinatown and then out to Darling Harbour. As it was a sunny day in Sydney with temperatures in the upper 70s, we decided to stop to get some ice cream along our way. Interestingly, when we were in Norway, which isn't far from Denmark, we never saw this brand of ice cream, but all the way in Australia, here it is. While there was a lot of construction going on in Darling Harbour, it was still a nice little walk and a fun sight to see. There were military subs and destroyer, this lighthouse, and some older boats as well. After checking out the west side of the harbour, we decided to go across the bridge to the east side before heading back to our hotel. Since our hotel was right next to the Haymarket, as well as Chinatown, we decided we would jump into the market and see if we can find any sunblock. We had brought some with us, but we were going to soon run out, and we wanted to make sure we had plenty as it was a very sunny trip.
I was gonna say this whole thing looks like a. That's a lot of Halloween masks. Holy smokes!
After spending a solid 4 hours exploring Sydney, we decided to get some lunch at a local Thai place. There are a lot of Thai places to choose from in Sydney. After lunch, it was time to go check into our room and take a well-deserved nap. After getting our room set up and having a bit of a nap, it ended up being pretty late. This is where our decision to stay near Chinatown paid off. There were still quite a few options open after 11 p.m. on a Sunday night, which wasn't realistic for the rest of Sydney. It was a nice night out, and the streets seemed pretty safe, so we decided to go for a little bit of a walk before picking up dinner. It seemed like there was a Thai massage on pretty much every block within a half mile of the Chinatown area. Seems you can't go anywhere in the world without seeing the McDonald's, or as the Australians say, a Macca's.
Didn't we already come this way and nothing was open? Okay. How did we see it?
Contrary to what you would think, Tobacco Station is actually a mini-mart, not a tobacco store. These are very prevalent in Sydney, along with 7-Elevens and Easy Marts. Here we have another hostel for backpackers. We eventually got takeaway from Sydney City Kebabs. It wasn't the greatest kebabs ever, but considering it's that late at night, we were pretty happy with the result. We also had plenty of leftovers to snack on the next day. After grabbing a drink at the local Easy Mart, we headed back to our room, ate, and then passed out again.